Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the SUPES channel. My name is Matthew Ramos, and on this channel, I aim to entertain, inform, and inspire using the topic of discussion as always, which is superheroes. So guys, we finally got Aquaman, the final comic book movie of the year, and overall 2018 has been an insane year for, just comic book movie fans in general. We got the highly anticipated Avengers Infinity War. We got Venom, Into the SpiderVerse, Black Panther, and so many great movies overall. And today what I want to do is I want to go down the list of comic book movies that came out this year and rank them. And so let's get right into it. So starting off, we're going to go worst to best. And starting off worst of the worst is Ant-Man and the Wasp. I really just hated this movie. For me, the only reason I went to see this movie is not only is it a Marvel movie, but we all know that end credit scene was going to be something Avengers Infinity War related, and anything related to Avengers Infinity War is anything I'm going to see, anything I'm willing to see. So I went to this movie with high hopes, that they could pick up the comedic tone that they had in the first film, and they did, but I just felt like this movie was such a waste of time, and this movie is literally, I felt like it was a prequel for Avengers 4 because, in Avengers 4 they're going to be using the quantum realm to travel back or to other dimensions in order to retrieve the stones. So I just felt like this movie was a setup for what's to come in Avengers 4 because they set up the quantum realm, and they also had that end credit scene where we saw the Wasp, Hank Pym, and Hank Pym's wife disappear to dust. So, but overall, I really hated this movie. I felt like it was just this long game of, who has the little building case, where the lab, that little lab was going back and forth with, the crime dealer guy, I forgot his name, and Ghost. And it was just a long game of, it felt like a long game of tag throughout that entire movie, and it was just not for me. I really disliked that movie, and that's why it's coming in at number 8. Next on the list is a movie that I had high expectations for going into it, and this is Venom. At the beginning of 2018, a lot of people were doubting this movie after that first teaser trailer where we didn't see any Venom at all. And a lot of people were doubting this movie, but I had high expectations for the movie since day one. I said, Tom Hardy is an A-list Hollywood actor. I love everything about, all of the roles Tom Hardy has played. He's just a dirty actor. And Venom, with the CGI and the way special effects are today, Venom is going to look disgusting. And you know what? Venom did look disgusting, but overall the film was pretty bad. It had a lot of negatives, with the plot, and it did not meet the expectations that I had for it. But it did give us, although it was a bad film, it was very entertaining. It's one of those films that's it's so bad that it's kind of entertaining, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why it's coming in at number 7. Coming in at number 6 is Aquaman. Now this is a film that, everyone seems to be loving, and I can see why, but for me at least, I did not like this movie as much as everyone did. I'm still struggling to, decide if it's a good movie. Is it more of a good movie or more of a bad movie? And this is why it's coming in at number 6, because I just did not like this movie. I thought that the tone didn't fit, and the comedic tone didn't really fit, because Aquaman is, close to from 35 years old to 40 years old, and he's acting like an 18-year-old kid that, is making, immature jokes, and I didn't like the portrayal of Arthur Curry as Aquaman. And don't get me wrong, I do love Jason Momoa and everything that he does. I think Jason Momoa is a badass. Personally, one of my favorite actors, you know, especially from Game of Thrones and just all of the roles he's played in the past. And I think he's one of those actors that can do anything and everyone will love it. And mostly everyone loved Aquaman, but I'm not one of those people. I thought that, I don't know, it was a very exhausting movie to get through. And at the end of the film, I was very exhausted after watching it. And I don't know, I just felt that once Aquaman, actually, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to make a separate video on that, but you guys can check it out. It's going to be called My Biggest Problem with Aquaman. And you guys can check out that video coming soon. So that's why Aquaman is coming in at number 6. Because I just didn't like this movie. I thought it was very sloppy and I thought the tone didn't fit. However, it was a beautiful spectacle. The visual effects were spot on and just amazing. So that's why Aquaman is coming in at number 6. Number 5 on the list is a film that a lot of people have it very underrated. It's a very underrated film. But number 5 is Teen Titans Go to the Movies. Oh my god, I love this movie. You know, despite not really liking the show, this movie was really good and it was really funny. Like, this was one of those films where I was watching it in my room by myself and I felt like a loser because I was literally crying of how funny like some of the stuff was. Like, I felt that this movie was really funny and it was a good film. Like, overall, it even though it was a short film, it is what it needed to be. I thought if the film went on any longer, it wouldn't have been as good as it was. And this is a movie that I just love so much and I cherish. It's very charming. You know, the plot is good. The jokes are spot on. And this was one of those movies that just made me cry of laughter. And it's sad to say it, but I haven't seen a movie that's made me cry of laughter in a really long time. And this movie did that for me. So that's why it's coming in at number 5. Next on the list is Deadpool 2. You know, the highly anticipated sequel to, you know, the masterpiece of Deadpool number 1, starring Ryan Reynolds. You know, the man who is born to play Deadpool, who is Deadpool. And Deadpool 2 was an amazing sequel. I personally thought it was better than the first film. And I really loved the introduction of Cable, the side characters, you know, the X-Force. And I just thought that they carried off of everything that worked in the first film and just enhanced it a little more in this movie. You know, the jokes, there was more fourth wall breaking. We even got to see the X-Men have a little cameo. And this was a very hilarious movie. They carried off of the strengths from the first film and just enhanced it a little more. And this film had a higher budget, so there was definitely more action than there was in the first film. And this was a really great film that I loved. And that's why it's coming in at number 4. Next on the list is Black Panther. You know, this movie is just awesome. I love this movie so much, and I don't love it as much as everyone else loves it because a lot of people have this as their number 1 film of the year. But the reason I love this movie so much is because of the side characters. You know, I don't love this movie because of Black Panther himself, because I personally liked Black Panther more in Civil War than I did in this movie. You know, the reason this movie hits home for me is because of Eric Killmonger and the other side characters. I felt like they're the ones who stole this movie. And overall, I just felt like Black Panther wasn't this. Black Panther didn't steal the show of his own movie. The ones who stole the show was Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger, portraying the best villain in the MCU. Besides Thanos, obviously. But I loved Eric Killmonger as a villain in Black Panther. I thought he filled, you know, the role perfectly, and what he contributed to the plot was amazing on an emotional level. You know, with the backstory of, you know, his father and T'Chaka and that whole, you know, family beef. I just thought that it carried over and spilled over into the main plot very well. And another thing is that the side characters that we were introduced to in this film were also amazing. You know, Shuri, little young badass in this film. M'Baku, you know, the comedian. I love M'Baku. You know, the jokes that he made, he's one of those characters that just made you scream of laughter. And I loved him in this movie. You know, Okoye, she was another female badass in this film. And this was a really good film overall. For me, I after watching the film, I felt like it was exactly like The Lion King. And when you think about it, it is exactly like The Lion King. But The Lion King is the best animated movie of all time, so this film works. I love this movie, and unfortunately, I don't love it as much as everyone else, but I still think it's a really great film, and you should go out and see it if you haven't done so. So that's why Black Panther is coming in at number 3. Number 2 is a film that everyone has at their number 1, but not me. Number 2, I have Avengers Infinity War. You know, this was probably the most anticipated movie. No, not probably. This was the most anticipated movie of 2018. You know, with 10 years building up into this film, with, you know, Thanos finally coming after the stones. And, you know, this movie is a spectacle. This film, watching this film, oh, that voice crack, whatever. Watching this film was the best movie experience I've ever had in my life. You know, watching it with the other hardcore fans, it was like watching a football game. And each character had their own, you know, crazy moment that made the audience just scream. And, you know, I love this movie so much. You know, with the subplots from the film all coming together towards the end. You know, Thor's entrance into Wakanda, I literally punched the air out of my friend sitting next to me. And me and the rest of my audience, like, literally were screaming when Thor entered Wakanda. And it was just such a good film experience to watch. I love this movie so much. You know, just Thanos taking over. This was Thanos' movie. And Josh Brolin really portrayed Thanos to a T. You know, the best villain in the MCU, which is hard to top Killmonger. But Thanos really took over this film. And it leaves us on a crazy cliffhanger ending that leads directly into the ending of it all. Avengers Endgame. So, there you guys have it. Avengers Infinity War coming in at number 2. Now, coming in at number 1 was the most underrated film coming into 2018. And a film that no one expected to be this good. But it's Spider-Man Into the SpiderVerse. You know, this is a film that not only is it the best comic book movie of 2018, it's one of the best movies of the year across all film and cinema. This movie is literally perfect. When I say perfect, I mean that every single scene in this movie had to be in this film because each scene contributed to the overarching plot, which is something very hard to pull off when making a movie. And I thought that all of the characters just meshed really, really well. You know, in a film, Sony doesn't have a great track record of having a lot of characters in their movies and having that movie still turn out to be a great film. Take into account the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they tried to, you know, put in so many characters and that film collapsed. Same thing with Spider-Man 3. So many villains and characters, the film collapsed. But this film was complete success. All of the characters were charming, this film had heart, emotion, and it didn't have that in expense to action and, you know, crazy action sequences. This film had heart, emotion, action, and this film definitely sets up the future of the Sony Marvel animated universe. And, you know, it also introduced us to the character of Miles Morales, who has never had, you know, an on-screen film debut. And it introduced us to that character, and it made us fall in love with that character. And, you know, I feel like going into the future, we are going to be seeing more of Miles Morales, not only in the animated universe, but maybe in the MCU, and most definitely in the Marvel gaming universe in Spider-Man PS4 2. So, Miles Morales, and now with the release of this film, you know, 2 weeks before this film was even released, they confirmed a second Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse coming soon, and a spin-off film of the Spider-Women of the Spider-Verse. You know, this is something that has never been done before, having an all-women lineup, and I'm excited for what's to come for Marvel's animated universe, movie universe. So that's why Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is coming in at number 1 as the best comic book film of 2018. So there you guys have it. There is my video about ranking the comic book movies of 2018 from worst to best. If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys next time.